The approximate age of emergence of the energetic grounded structure is from the 4th to the 6th year of life. When unintegrated, it exemplifies a pattern of holding back against the fear of surrender to the deeper currents of life: love, sexuality, cosmic longing. Basic question about our rights is, do I have the right to love? Neurological development all along has involved interactions among gene expressions, levels of neurotransmitters, and the outer environment, the caregiver's interactions with you. So levels of sex hormones, which were high at birth and are decreased in middle childhood, are regulated by a caregiver's positive and negative social interactions. And they particularly underlie gender differentiation evidenced at this heightened stage of hormonal upsurge. Nurturing contact since infancy raises levels of gonadal steroids circulating in the bloodstream, unlocking genetic potential and initiating sex-linked differentiation, and can play out in the dynamics described as Oedipal for the males or Electra for the females. We'll talk about that later. For example, a possessiveness towards the sexually targeted parent. A maturing sensory system in the genitals, functional since 18 months, gives way to interest in touching and exhibiting genitals at this stage. Pleasurable eye contact triggers excitement in the genital area and stimulated sexual self-touching, which correspondingly occurs at the onset of the shaming interactions we talked about in the last 2 classes. Shame and regulation of sex drive are intimately connected, while dyadic relationships increasingly enlarge to triadic, that is, allowing the feeling state's exploration of switched intimacies through alliance alternating with the opposite sex parent and the same sex parent. Now, these binary distinctions of male and female admittedly are overly simplistic and must be modified to represent non-binary development. But the age of these dynamics does seem to fall within the 4 to 6 year old period. The origin of the emergence of the non-integrated energetic grounded pattern with the girl is thought to often reside with the father, who gives the impression of rejecting the child's emerging sexuality, perhaps through conscious or unconscious fear of his own sexual feelings for or around the child. One commonly described dynamics is that one or both parents were contactful. They had a lot of contact in the first years of life, but then withdrew and diverted interest with the child's naturally emerging sexual expressions they were uncomfortable with, didn't know how to handle. The parents may also reject the child's feelings and desires for loving intimacy, or deny the child's growing individuality and personhood. The female energetic grounded frozen in the fear polarity has internalized a sense of the world and of the self as one where love and her feelings are not enough or good enough, or they're too much. She is searching desperately for someone who will accept her as she is, while she simultaneously withdraws from the deeper involvements that would make her heart vulnerable to another wounding. This can engender the fantasy of the lover who is strong enough to overcome her fears and reunite her heart and sexuality. For example, the knight in the shining armor on the white horse that no real person can live up to. The male frozen polarity of the energetic grounded structure feels his hurt and betrayal and is identified with it. He therefore sees other people as being potentially wonderful and potentially betraying. That is, originally accepting, then, as his sexuality emerges, rejecting him, or just wanting him to perform sexually but withholding their heart. As he struggles with his inner yearning and distrust. The developmental challenge of the energetic grounded pattern is gender identity versus surrender to love. The conflict at this stage is between one's well-developed freedom of expression and surrendering to love in a relationship. It looks to them as if they have been encouraged to express themselves, but when they express themselves as a sexual being in an intimate manner toward the parent to which they are attracted, they're rejected. They begin to expect disappointment in intimate relationships. The energetic grounded male. So the somatic holding pattern is a straight posture with shapely, tense chest and a tight, charged pelvis. The back is straight or arched, and the legs are straight, and the general impression is given that of the knight in either chainmail or plate armor. In other words, the chest is frozen. There's a split between the heart and the head. The muscular tensions are in the extensor muscles, with the strongest blocks to the flow of feeling from the heart to the genitals. The body is well proportioned and often athletic, with adequate energy. The fear of surrender dynamically is reflected in the fear of falling in one's face or falling in love, with a strong, prideful, independent component. There's a tendency to be orderly and in control, although high achievement is a significant positive characteristic of this type. There can be a hyperactivity with energy withdrawal from the core, culminating in a cold pelvis. The eyes are sparkling, bright, and present. So this figure shows the male whose face, jaw is set, the eyes are bright, shoulders are raised and squared off, chest is out, the back is tense, and the pelvis is fixed back. The body is even proportioned and armored. This shows the body structure of a woman with the energetic grounded theme. Her face is tight, the jaw is tense. The neck is tight at the base of the skull. There is extreme tension there. The shoulders are immobile. The lower back is tight. The pelvis is pulled back, yet soft and sexually alive. The legs are stiff. The upper body is rigid, whereas the lower body is more soft and yielding. The emotional presentation of the fear-based polarity of this theme is one of anxiety, ungrounded energy. There's a fear of intimacy with a tendency to use sexuality as a form of defense against deeper feelings and commitments. A split between the heart and sexuality is evidenced wherein the individual may be promiscuous or sexually active with one person while having their heart and deeper companionship with another. This split is institutionalized in some cultures, known as the Madonna prostitute syndrome, in which it is common for the man to honor and uphold the image of his wife, put on a pedestal, as it were, while having sexuality and more vulnerable feelings expressed with a mistress. For the woman, often a seductive or flirtatious manner is present with a quality of revenge that flavors her actions. For both men and women, type A behavior characteristics with achievement and the need to push ahead are noted, as well as sometimes injury and illness from stress because of the need to be on top and in the lead. So let's look at the drawings now. of the energetic theme. So the integrated state of the energetic grounded theme is one of attractiveness and alertness. In other words, a capable and healthy individual who is able to deal with challenges from strength and focus. Highly energetic, they possess directness and connection with others and are able to blend both the sensual and heart-centered energy. They can surrender to loving feelings and maintain long-term intimate relationships. Their ability to both be grounded and open to surrender favor their success in many areas of life. They bring a full complement of life energy to whatever they undertake and are able to enlist a wide range of resources through their personal magnetism. Hence, they can take on great challenges without needing the adrenaline rush or great drama of their unintegrated states. They are now able to balance achievement with heartfelt satisfaction in relationships. Some of the early dynamics for the energetic grounded may include a message to the male from her mother, "I'm a beautiful goddess but untouchable." To her daughter, "Be a woman for me so I can be relieved of handling sex with father." The father's message to the son is, "Compete and be a man like me. Don't be soft so I don't have to face my softness." To his daughter, "If I'm too soft, I'm not a man." Well, let's try on these body themes right now. So for the male, your pelvis is pushed back, your chest is out and kind of cocky, and the theme song, or what you might say, is, "No one is going to hurt me again." Whereas for the female, trying on this type, the top of the body is stiff, whereas it's more soft on the bottom. So gesture might be the holding off on top and the come hither on the bottom. Okay. For the next exercise, you'll need 2 pillows. One to put beneath each of your hands when you lie on your back on your breathing mat. We'll do this in a few minutes. Now, those with the energetic theme can be direct with their anger and often successful in getting what they want competitively in life. They can enjoy the adrenaline of risk-taking activities, which breaks through their emotional armoring and increases a sense of aliveness, yet does not make them emotionally vulnerable in relationships. Even the sexual conquest can be exhilarating, something to give ego gratification, but the ability to surrender to love and maintain a long-term relationship is too uncomfortable and threatens the defensiveness they have built to never be hurt or betrayed again. The male can often, of this type, brag of the amount of sex that they've had, like notches on their belt, while at the same time betraying the fact that they can't really sustain a long-term relationship with one person. So the next exercise entails a discharge of energy in a more childlike, vulnerable way that can allow these early feelings to emerge and hopefully then be integrated. The adult mind will see this exercise as foolish. Now that's a way to stay in adult control. So see if you can allow yourself to engage in this, quotes, temper tantrum as a child and support yourself in whatever feelings emerge. This can lead to not being controlled by your fear of strong vulnerability. In other words, once you can do it and experience it, it's not always looming in the background of, "Oh, I don't want to look foolish or childlike." Now, it's not practice for how to resolve all frustrating situations in your life. Fall down and have a temper tantrum at the grocery store. But once you've reprogrammed your nervous system to be safe with your interpersonal vulnerability, the unconscious fears of betrayal will not prevent you from going through the deep interpersonal challenges that are inevitably going to emerge in long-term intimacy. So let's watch this clip together and keep breathing as you do it, with the kicking, the pounding, the rotating of the head, and the shouting of no. And we're going to practice this a little later, okay? Let's look at this video clip together. This exercise, called a temper tantrum, is exactly what the label says. It's used to reset our nervous system. Again, this is not recommended as an everyday exercise that you do when you're frustrated. This is an exercise that we do to help reprogram and reset all of the inhibitory mechanisms that have caused us to live in performance, to live in showing the good side. What Sherry is going to do now is to really let all of her emotions come out in a torrent. Children, again, often have been inhibited from any expression or allowed to overexpress. So this is not a loss of control. Sherry is very much in control as she's doing it. She's not hurting anyone. She's not hurting herself. But she is letting expression come fully and freely so as to take away any of the unconscious blocks to knowing that she has the right to fully be her and to be authentic. So as you're ready, Sherry.
Okay. No! 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 No!
All right, now breathe. Now breathe and just feel your entire body, from the bottom of your feet to the top of your head. Let yourself breathe. Straighten your neck out a little bit. Yeah, that's it. Feel the strength in your body. Feel the freedom in your expression. And feel the acceptance that you have to be an alive, expressive being. This is your birthright. Sherry just demonstrated the temper tantrum in the way that it came out for her. Every person will do it differently, and the range of emotions that come out will be different. I had asked Sherry beforehand to use her voice, and she used saying the word no, but that may not be the word of choice that comes out, or the sound of choice that comes out for someone doing it extemporaneously. Okay. Now keep breathing, even as you've seen that, and prepare your breathing area with a pillow under each hand, and put yourself emotionally into a betrayed child emotional space. So you want to breathe throughout this, not hold your breath. This is important. You're pounding with the flats of your hands, and you're kicking with the flats of your feet. Don't do it with a tightened fist or kick with your heels. Again, that is prone to bruise you or cause injury. Now, if you're in a place where you would be inhibited in making noise, maybe you in an apartment with neighbors, and you could lay on your stomach and shout into the pillow, okay? You can modify this exercise. As always, do not hurt yourself in any way, and only go as far as is right for you at this time. You can always experiment with it more later, maybe in a different setting. So let's begin together with breathing, keeping the breath going. Let yourself vocalize as it supports your release, and we'll do this for about 30 seconds, and then I'll call time out and we'll relax and do it again. So go ahead. Okay, now Now just relax for a moment. Breathe easy. And again, connect with your heart for a moment before we repeat the exercise. Give acceptance to whatever feelings, whatever expression comes out. Okay? And once again, we're going to repeat the exercise starting with the breathing. Go ahead, begin. Okay, and come back to easy breathing now. Feel your body and accept whatever you feel and release any judgments that arise. What would it take to be able to do this exercise pleasurably, to feel good about yourself and your expression? So just breathe and see if you can trace the origins of where your feelings and or judgments around doing this kind of expression come from in your history. Bring yourself back to the video now. Bring yourself back. Okay, this exercise may be challenging for you to let go with. It can be useful to try it several times in safe settings for your body to let go in a way that takes care of you and permits free expression. Once you get it, you may not have to repeat it often, but you have it on hand when you re-experience feeling emotionally stuck and rigid. You'll have it then in your self-care toolbox along with all the exercise we practice in this course. Everyone with whom I share this work, I consider part of a growing community of light beings on our planet and part of my spiritual family.